Welcome to Kami Sigma. This is your Sensei Julius Ochoa back again for another video, very interesting video regarding mantras. As you all know, here in ôKAMI Sigma, we're here to help other people ascend to a higher state of consciousness. And one of the very useful tools and techniques that I was able to learn during my journey, my spiritual journey, is to chant mantras and harness the power of these mantras in order to make profound changes in my life and at the same time align with the vibrations of the universe. Now, there are many mantras out there that are already existing, whether it's a Buddhist mantra, Tibetan mantra, uh, you have the Hindu mantras. And these mantras are very powerful because these are uh, created by bodhisattvas, enlightened teachers such as Gautama Buddha, and bodhisattvas who attained enlightenment, as well as our great ancestors who came from the different they're diff who came from a different part of our universe. Now, these mantras are taught by sages and monks and those who have been uh, taught verbally in order to memorize these mantras. So the mantras are taught verbally, verbatim, not they were not transferred through books and uh, like the ordinary teachings. Most of the ancient teachings are transferred to through generations of memorization. Okay, so only lately in our modern times that these mantras have been documented and uh, but not as not during the time of its transmission. So its transmission is mostly verbal, and then later on, uh, they decided to write it down in sacred scriptures or ancient texts. So this is how the mantra survived for uh, a very long time, and how it got to various generations. Now, the amazing thing about mantras that I really like is each mantra has its own purpose and its own vibration. Now, so you have a wide selection of mantras that are being taught by sages and enlightened beings here on earth to help us during times of our troubles, to help us with our spiritual journey, and also to help us manifest good things in our lives. So the mantras are there in order for us to be able to gain some knowledge, wisdom, and be able to manifest good things in our world. Okay, so there's a very positive impact that these mantras uh, have done in our uh, lives, especially those who are transversing or in their spiritual journey. Okay, so I'll be tackling a lot of mantras that I've already been practicing, and I can tell you from my experience, it has impacted me positively, and it has changed a lot in terms of my mental state, my emotional state, and even my physical state. Okay, so these mantras opened up new doors and new dimensions for me to be able to navigate my spiritual journey. And I hope it will help you too. Okay, so there's a lot of things to be learned and practice. And you can choose which one suits your spiritual journey best, because these mantras are available to assist the student or assist us humans in order to evolve uh, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay, so one of the things that I've noticed with ancient scriptures and mantras is that when you recite them through their root language, mostly Sanskrit, and either it's Chinese, Hindu, uh, and Sanskrit language. So their their syllables are very short, but they contain a lot of meaning. What does that mean? Which means back then communication was very direct and very concise. Unlike our communication right now, our verbal communication, it's very lengthy. Before you can send out a message, you have to speak a lot of words. Now, another thing that I noticed about mantras, which makes them very, very special, is the vibration. Okay, so you have to chant the mantras with, you have to learn to chant the mantras at their native language, because the vibration is, I can tell you, is very different. So there's a translation to English. However, the English language doesn't contain that original vibration when the mantra was created. So it's best to learn both. Know the meaning in English, and then at the same time, being able to practice and recite the mantras with the ancient language. Okay, most commonly Sanskrit. Okay, so it's a very, very exciting journey for me, and I've learned a lot studying these mantras, and it took me into various cultures. And what I've what I really like about it is I've learned to appreciate and also understand other cultures. Aside from learning mantras, I would encourage everyone to also learn sutras. Now, sutras are like ancient recorded conversations, but it contains a lot of wisdom. So, most of the mantras originated from their various sources, and some of them are part of the sutras. Now, the nice thing about the sutras is it contains a whole lot of ancient wisdom, and what you'll appreciate is when you recite it, it contains a lot of wisdom in a very short and concise construction of words and syllables. Now, that's a very, very thing that we need to learn right now. Well, most likely back in the day, speech and language was very, very direct. And the only difference that we'll see as language progressed is the addition of new words, because we have new things created in the modern day, and also new systems, and also new processes that require, and also new cultures that require new words. However, academically, we have to remember that when, especially when translating ancient texts, the names must be retained and spoken as is. You cannot change the spelling of the names, and also if the word has no translation in English, it has to be spoken as is. Now, this is something that you need to keep in mind when learning mantras. And it's a good thing to if you to research further if you encounter a word or a name or even a phrase uh, that can't be translated in English, because it will lead you to a lot of interesting things. So that's my 10-minute take on learning about mantras. So now let's get on to the video and discuss our subject mantra for today. By the way, before we continue, I'd like to give a shout out and a thank you to all of you who have supported Okami Sigma Universe. And for those who are new, welcome. And feel free to like, share, subscribe, so that you, if you like the content, so that you can get uh, a lot of new information and learn some more about spirituality and mantras, vibration, and all of that. Okay. Our channel is not only just for spirituality, it's more of a holistic lifestyle channel. We got health, culture, manifestations, and all that. So there's a lot of great things in our page. So you can visit us at our Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and of course, uh, you can also check our playlist for other very, very informative stuff and very, very important information that could help you live a positive life. Okay, so let's proceed to the video. So, our topic for today is Guanyin mantras. Okay, so I'm not sure if all of you are familiar with Goddess of Mercy, Kuan Yin. She's the ancient ancestor of the Chinese, uh, who embodies uh, mercy and purification. Okay, so learning her mantras, the mantras of Kuan Yin, helps you to purify your speech, your mind, your body, and also receive some bestowals, divine bestowals, and frees you from suffering. Now, there's a very interesting story that this the goddess of mercy, or Kuan Yin, which is also known as a bodhisattva. Okay, so bodhisattva is another topic, but just to elaborate a little, bodhisattvas are volunteered souls who, instead of going to a state of transition and leaving the cycle of reincarnation, they chose to reincarnate again to help the human race evolve and progress spiritually and in some cases technologically by knowledge and education. So the bodhisattvas, they have various purposes. So it can be anything uh, that might be able to assist the progression of the human race. So it's not just limited to saving the people from oppressive tyrants. Okay, in which in Guan Yin's case, her ability to exude compassion and assist her people during that time against her tyrannical father. That's where she got recognized. Okay, so most likely you would encounter her mantras when people would like to alleviate suffering or difficulties. Most of the bodhisattvas come in and are usually reborn during tumultuous times wherein there's a period of war or human beings need help or assistance. But it's not limited to the Chinese culture. There, the Hindu culture also has that. The Japanese culture also has that. And if you look closely into the stories of these bodhisattvas, they have a very common theme. Uh, Depending on which age they come in into our planet or into our society, uh, they have various functions. These are currently these documented bodhisattvas during the ancient times are usually found in ancient texts, ancient records, and their stories are kept by historians for those who have the period you are in the period wherein writing was already available. Now, in modern times, I guess we are not keeping track of that, but most of the bodhisattvas maybe on the current day they're left unmentioned. Of course, you won't hear them in the news because basically media right now is more concerned of politics rather than and propaganda rather than these kinds of things. But uh, of course, the bodhisattvas are unsung heroes of the modern day um, for people who might be assisted by a bodhisattva in the modern day and they wouldn't even know it because that term doesn't exist in their culture, or that term or principle or concept is not uh, part of the educational system that we are in. Mostly, you will hear it very, very short mention in our history classes, but uh, not in a very elaborate manner unless you are schooled in China, Japan, or you're schooled in India. Okay, that's just my take on that. Okay, so Goddess Kuan Yin or um, Kuan Yin is a bodhisattva. Okay, and by learning this mantra, we can practice kindness and align our vibration with a loving heart towards all sentient beings. Okay, uh, these teachings were taught by uh, Buddhist monks. Okay, so this is from a Buddhist text. Okay, so the first mantra that I learned of Kuan Yin, I I learned it, but I didn't know it was from her. Okay, so I learned it in the context of a popular Tibetan mantra, but we're gonna dive in deep and discuss what this mantra is, and it's a very simple mantra, but it's very popular. We're gonna dive in deep as to what it means. Okay, so Uh, One of Guan Yin's mantra is Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay. All right. So you can check our playlist. I've already uh, made some videos about Om Mani Padme Hum as some sort of practice guide for chanting this particular mantra. Okay. So Om Mani Padme Hum is a Tibetan mantra with royal lineage. Okay, so it has Guan Yin has 6 characters for this mantra. Okay, it's Om, Ma, Ni, Padme, Padme, and then Hom. Okay, all right. So okay, so each mantra is aligned with eliminating the 6 bitterness of the 6 realms. Okay. So what are the 6 realms? Okay, so you have to understand this in the context of during the ancient times. The Asura realms, the realm of the humans, the realm of the animals, the realm of hungry ghosts. Okay, so those are already uh, dear like the dearly departed ones who hasn't crossed the passed through the third dimension, and the lowest lower level dark realms that is filled with desire and suffering. Now in this realm it could be attributed to beings here on earth who are in a state of suffering. When we say suffering in the context, it could be desire, wherein they are indulgent or indulging into very dark activities or vices, addictions. And then suffering is when it could be mental, emotional suffering due to circumstances in their life, due to events, global events, and then suffering in health, and also suffering in death. So these are the 6 realms that this mantra is trying to assist the human race with. Okay, so let's try to learn each mantra, okay, or each syllable of the mantra. Okay, the first one is Om. Okay, this is a very popular mantra. Om is a universal mantra. It's sometimes called the sound of the universe, but very few people know that the sound of Om, its purpose is to extinguish the bitterness of birth, sickness, old age, and death. Okay, so that's the purpose when you chant the mantra Om. Okay, and then the next syllable, which is Ma. Okay, Ma is part of the mantra that abolish suffering in conflict among the asuras. Now, what are asuras? Now, asuras can be compared to as demons, or these beings are uh, primarily a type of, how do you say this? It's hard to describe the asuras. So let's just put it in this context. You have divine beings, so beings who are leaning towards more of goodness, and then you have the asuras, wherein these beings are into not so good activities. Okay, just to put it in simple words. Okay, All right. So, but these beings, they share this dimension with us. So they're part of the healing process. If a lot of you didn't know, our Earth is multidimensional, and there in the past, very ancient past, beings come and go in our planet, but we share a certain dimensional reality with them. So they exist here while we also exist here. Okay, so try to imagine that concept, uh, and try to digest it for a while. Okay, so we very various beings exist in multi dimensions in our planet. So imagine this mantra being added here with that in mind. Okay, this is in the ancient text. Okay, so that in particular, which means Kuan Yin, okay, Bodhisattva Kuan Yin is not limited to just helping humans. Okay, so these are all sentient beings, okay, in existence. Okay, the next syllable is Ni, okay, which extinguishes the bitterness of birth, sickness, old age, and death among humans. Okay, so this part, this syllable addresses, the basic suffering in human existence or in any being's existence. So it's everybody undergoes this, whether it's plants, animals, humans, um, okay, and other beings that we cannot see. Okay, all right. The next mantra is Pad. Okay, which frees the animals from languishing under forced labor. Okay, so this is showing mercy to our to various uh, animals in the animal kingdom. Okay, so the bodhisattva is also concerned about animals, whether it's pets or whether it's animals of burden like oxes and cows, and also animals used to wage wars, such as horses, falcons, animals that are in the wild. So it's not limited to just animals that you know and see, it's also very inclusive with the animals that you don't usually see and you don't usually interact with. But they also experience suffering. Okay, these animals also experience suffering, so they also need help. Okay, all right. Our next syllable is May. Okay, all right. May is to wipe out the pitiful cravings of hungry ghosts. Okay, what are hungry ghosts? These are lurking spirits who are still in our dimension. So, past loved ones, people already died but wasn't able to pass over and still lingers here in our dimension. They also need help. Spirits who didn't know that they're still existing here, but they don't know that they're already dead. Okay, and some of the spirits that are um, unable to leave this dimension because of certain issues and loved ones that they're still looking after. Okay, so like in common terms is unfinished business. Okay, in some cases these are malevolent spirits. Okay, other malevolent spirits. So these are entities that we cannot see because they're not in the 3D dimension. Okay, they're not in the third dimension. They could possibly be in the fourth dimension, wherein it's in the spiritual or astral realm. Okay, so bodhisattvas, in case you don't know, are able to transverse or travel from the physical reality to the and then travel to the fourth dimension or the astral realm. Okay, so if you want to have that ability, there's a frequency you can listen to activate that ability. It's in our Okami playlist. You can check it out. Okay, if you want to. Okay. Now our next syllable is hum. Okay. And this is to eradicate suffering and misery for beings who are um, being punished. Okay. So uh, they're being punished for their bad karma or bad actions or bad deeds. Okay. So there is such a thing as divine punishment. And divine punishment actually happens because we have laws such as the law of cause and effect. Now, there's another mantra for that, which is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. You can check that on our playlist as well to practice it so that you can master the uh, and practice the law of cause and effect. Okay. Now, this is compassion. Hum is compassion for those who are suffering with their karma, whether they are already passed over or passing over, or they're still alive. Okay, so if they're still alive, they might be suffering from any kind of human afflictions, such as addictions, broken family. Some of them receiving karma for ending somebody's life or um various sufferings. So it's not limited to the living individual, but also from those who are dying and already who are already dead. Okay. Okay. All right. So it's a very very extensive mantra, if you would ask me. Okay. So that is Omani Padme Hum. Okay. Which is a mantra of Quan Yin, which is the Bodhisattva of mercy. Okay, so we're gonna end it at that. I hope you learned a lot, and it is very easy to recite this mantra. And if you recite it, it tames any kind of negative emotions and develops compassion within the individual or yourself. Okay, so most of the time, when chanting this mantra, it's not limited to the person who's just chanting. It also passes through and empowers those who are able to hear this mantra, whether it's a human being, an animal, or a plant, or any kind of entity. Okay, so feel free to practice and check on our playlist. I hope you learned a lot. Again, this is Sensei Julius Ochoa. Thank you for watching Okami Sigma Universe.